Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the More Than You See podcast, where either we have conversations with creatives about their mental health journeys, or we have little episodes like this one where we talk about something that impacts your mental health or improves your life in some way. And this is an episode that I was kind of throwing together last minute. Next week is going to be our season finale of season 6, but I wanted to do a little bonus episode before the season finale to talk about this really incredible test called the Values Bridge test. Now, this is a quiz that I'm sure my partner is listening to this episode and rolling his eyes because I have been telling everyone to take this quiz, and I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to dive into why I think this is so valuable. It's such a valuable mental health tool and something that you can use to really focus in on what exactly is important in your life. Now, the Values Bridge quiz was created by Susie Welch, who is a professor at NYU Stern School of Business and the creator of the Becoming You methodology. And basically what this test is it is an examination of 16 different values that people have in their life, and it basically ranks them based on a bunch of different questions that it asks you, and it tells you which are the things that are the most valuable to you, which are the things that are not valuable to you, and how that compares to how you're living your life right now. So if there's something that is very high on your values list, but it's something that you don't have in your life right now, it'll actually tell you what the gap is between the life that you envision, the life that you want, those values, and then the life that you currently have. She calls that the authenticity gap score. So basically, again, where your life that you want and the life that you currently have, how it all aligns. So she calls this the 16 human values, your values DNA. And it's basically, so it says the values bridge ranks your values from most to least dominant based on your responses to 100 scientifically validated prompts. Now, this test quiz, it kind of blew my mind a little bit, which is why I think that it's something, because I think that in the rat race of life, we are constantly striving for things. But as she explained on this podcast that I was listening to, which is, where I heard about this, she explained how by 25, the things that are important to us are already locked in. Those values that you have out of that 16 that are the top 5, they're already locked in. And the rest of your life is all about building your life into what you want based on those values. And I think that, she talked on this podcast about how we go through cycles of our life. And in these different cycles, we might be, really striving for one value or another, and how there can be conflicts between your top values because of you striving for one thing and leaving something else behind. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into my values and kind of explain this a little bit more. So for example, my values DNA profile, my top 5 values are work centrism, so the desire to work, belovedness, which is your focus or the importance that you put on a romantic relationship, achievement, which is, your desire to really achieve and to work on your career. So, that's your achievement. So how much you seek visible success, with visible being key. That is what this says. So it's not just about doing well, it's about being recognized for doing well. So that's the key with achievement. Number 3 is luminance. Luminance is the desire to be known, and basically the desire to make an impact, but have that impact be known and have people recognize you for the impact that you're having on the world. And then affluence, which is about your ability to make money, how much money that you have, any of those sorts of things. So those are my top 5. Again, work centrism, belovedness, achievement, luminance, affluence. And it's so interesting because for me, the biggest thing that it kept coming up when it examines all of your DNA or your values DNA is that belovedness, your desire to, or my desire to maintain a relationship and have my relationship first, oftentimes contradicts work centrism, achievement, luminance, affluence, because all of those other things also require you to do 100% of your focus in order to achieve, in order to follow those values. So it's basically saying like belovedness requires you to focus on that 100%. And then these others also require you to focus on it 100%. And what is going to break? And this is something that I've talked with my therapist about quite a bit, is like, what is the breaking point for me? Like, I have so many things going on. What is finally too much? And this quiz was really important for me because it called out to me the things that I knew inside were important, but it forced me to recognize them and talk to my therapist about them. And now I'm talking to you all about them. And I think that it's valuable to just do the self-evaluation and have the self-awareness about these different values in your life. So I strongly encourage everyone to go and take this. It's completely free. I'm going to have a link in the bio, but definitely go and take it, and then hit me up on Instagram or TikTok or wherever and let me know what you think and what your values are, because I think this is something that like really helps you know yourself. And then once you kind of know yourself and know those values, I think that it allows you to kind of tweak what you're currently doing in your day. For example, I realized a big thing for me that was like a big aha moment was that I realized that eudaimonia, which is the desire for joy, the desire to focus on joy, was not in my top 5. In fact, it was like number 11 for me. And so this is a value of like focusing on happiness and joy in your life. And I was talking to my partner, and he had, I'm going to misquote him, but he basically was like, that is not something that is top of your list. Like, in the list of things that you're constantly striving for, joy and happiness is not the top. And he's right. And I realized as I was talking to my therapist that part of the reason for that is because I get so much joy from creating, from being an actor, writing, pushing my, career forward. And unfortunately, I have so many things going on that often is secondary. And so because of this realization, because of this Values Bridge quiz, I've actually instated a new habit that I am declaring to you all, that I've now done for 2 days, and I'm very proud of myself. And basically what that new habit is that when Beckett goes down for a nap, instead of automatically opening my computer and working and immediately checking my emails and getting into the tasks for the day, instead I am taking 30 minutes and doing something creative. Right now, I'm working on multiple scripts. And so for me right now, the last couple days, it was open final draft and just make incremental process in my scripts. And can I tell you the amount of joy and happiness I have gotten from those little incremental movements forward with my script has been huge. And so it's really cool for me to be able to see and to basically take this Values Bridge quiz and be like, okay, what now can I do in order to try and make this change and try and bring my values forward. And the other thing that I'm kind of realizing is that like, it's this desire to be seen, this desire to basically to be famous and to be, that is certainly something that is, I was going to say it's a little embarrassing to talk about, but this is something that I've come to terms with, is that like, I have a desire to be recognized, and I am not going to feel shame for that. That is just truth. That is just the facts. That is something that intrigues me, that I love. And so for me, it kind of made me realize once again that I'm like, okay, am I doing something incrementally on a daily basis, weekly basis, or whatever, in order to make that value possible? So once again, I think that it's very valuable to take a quiz like this because it allows you to focus in on the things that matter to you, let go of the things that don't, and really recognize what is going on inside. Because maybe you know yourself 100% and you don't need to take something like this. But a quiz like this kind of held a mirror up to myself, and I find that really important to do these self-evaluations, especially as we're nearing the end of the year, nearing the end of this season of the podcast. Do that self-evaluation and then take what you've learned about yourself and move forward into the next phase. Thank you once again for listening to the podcast. I hope that a tool like this is something that is valuable to you. I definitely want to make sure that I am sharing actionable tools that you can use in order to build your own mental health toolbox. And I am genuinely curious what you learn about yourself by taking this quiz. So take the quiz, reach out to me, let me know what you think. Be sure to tune in next week for our season finale. Shelley and I are going to be doing a really fun recap episode where we also go into a bunch of other mental health tools. So I strongly recommend that you tune into that. I just want to say thank you for being here, but also if you could do me the biggest favor and just tell someone about this podcast. Even if you tell someone about this episode and go, hey, I just heard about this really awesome quiz called the Values Bridge Quiz. I heard about it on this podcast. You should listen to this podcast. Here you go. The host is a little quirky and fun, and I would appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. Truly, it means the world. And I'm just really excited to continue on this journey with you. So remember to be kind to yourself this week. Remember that you and everyone around you is more than you see. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week.